I love the sound. Oh, the sounds these things make is fantastic. Listen to this. Oh, I think I just hit my own. Hey, you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So, the new Tall Tale enlightens the average player on a few things. Firstly, Flameheart is a sourpuss Scooby-Doo villain, and secondly, we are dealing with Flameheart Senior. Now, I know a few of you will be shuffling in your seat right now, ready to comment a paragraph of writing about how it's not Senior, but just sit back first, and let me prove it to you once and for all. Oh, and it goes without saying, if you haven't played the new Tall Tale, spoilers ahead. So try and keep up, we're going on a wild ride here. Flameheart Senior was a crew member of the Burning Blade, but its captain was only known as the Captain. When Flameheart Senior was at home outside of the Sea of Thieves, he would tell stories to his adopted son about his adventures. Eventually, Flameheart died, and his son ventured to the Sea of Thieves on a ship called the Silver Blade. He took on his father's name and tried to be as notorious as his father. When on a quest to find a mystical chest, him and his crew fled from ships who were chasing them down for this precious treasure, and Flameheart Jr. steered his ship into the Shroud, where his ship, the Silver Blade, and the chest sank to the ocean floor. Flameheart Jr. and his crew washed up on a strange island and found a riddle wrapped in a skeleton's hand that sent them to a cave system where they found a mystical chalice filled with water. Him and his crew all drank from this chalice and in the process were cursed and turned into skeletons. Flameheart Jr. was the only one to retain his memories, and the rest of his crew lost their minds. Whilst in this cave system, he met with another skeleton, and this skeleton revealed that it was him that lured him into this cave in order to turn him into a skeleton. He also revealed that he was the Captain, the former captain of the Burning Blade, and was stranded on this island by his father, Flameheart Senior. And this is where the book ends. But what we learn from this is Captain Flameheart Senior was the captain of the Burning Blade at some point. The book never really does a great job of explaining how long the captain was stranded here, but it certainly wasn't recent, as the captain had made this place his home. This means that Captain Flameheart Senior was in command of the Burning Blade for quite some time, and ransacked the Sea of Thieves and created a vast fortune before Flameheart Jr. ever came to the Sea of Thieves. Now we know that the Burning Blade has sunk since then, as its remains adorn the walls of Wanda's hideout. This ship was filled with cursed treasure and artifacts, as Wanda explained during the curse sales with her journals, and it was these artifacts that cursed her to follow Flameheart Senior to do his bidding, which means somewhere along the timeline, Flameheart Senior was betrayed by his crew, or maybe one of the ships within his fleet. He mentions this in the astral state during the end of the Seabound Soul. People often say to me, it was never mentioned that Flameheart Senior was a skeleton lord, and how can he be a skeleton lord when he died on his estate as a human? Well, first and foremost, it never states that he died on his estate. A quote from Flameheart Jr. Father eventually settled down on this magnificent estate, in which a small candlelit corner of the most private room I now write. It mentions he died, but it never mentions that he died on his estate. It merely mentions he settled there. Now, one thing that a lot of people seem to glaze over is the narrative that has been in place since the release of the Tall Tales, and that is the ability that some people possess, Greymarrow and Pendragon, to imbue a soul onto an object. This is a story arc that Rare have been trying their hardest to shove down our throats to explain all of this, but a lot of us, including myself at one point, seem to forget. Flameheart Senior was betrayed, and his soul was trapped within his own remains, as he explains when he is let loose in his astral form by Pendragon. Now, it's obvious that Pendragon is well aware of Flameheart's exploits, as the outro line, "What have we done?" proves he's tangled with him before. Flameheart Senior was never a skeleton lord, and in his present state he is still not a skeleton lord. He was flesh and blood when he was killed, and betrayed, and then locked within his remains so he could not return. Even though some flavor text within the game mentions he's a returned skeleton lord, but I think that's a mere summary for those who don't understand or don't wish to understand the story arc. I mean, think about it. How could he be a skeleton lord in his current state if you literally pulled his head off and watched Pendragon pop it? The masked stranger, however, has made it no secret that she intends to resurrect him. Whether she has done this yet or not is unknown. But the only means of resurrection within this game, other than a brief visit to the ferryman, is in the form of the undead. And I don't think the ferryman would take kindly to a visit from Flameheart. The Ashen Dragon, as he said, was his funeral pyre. He was brought back into the Sea of Thieves in this state some time ago. His sunken vessel, his whispers on the wind that led Wanda to resurrect his fleet and to make her follow him, to adorn the mask and manipulate key members of the world to release powerful forgotten characters in order to trick them into releasing the soul of Flameheart back onto the world. Flameheart Jr. was a scholar, a well-educated man, that met an unfortunate end, or should I say, renewal. He never had any armies, he never commanded any fleets, and he never commanded the Burning Blade. He came to the Sea of Thieves, he basically went on one mission, and then he sunk. He was also here when the Pirate Lord, Ramsay, had met his end and become a ghost. Flameheart Sr. was here long before us adventurers and was flesh and blood like the Pirate Lord on his travels. He commanded fleets and armies and nearly brought the Sea of Thieves to its knees, but was stopped. But by whom? This much we simply do not know yet. All we know is from Grace Morrow, he merely vanished. So what of Flameheart Jr.? He left the world outside of the Sea of Thieves after his father had died to make a name for himself. The last we heard of him was inside a cave talking to the former captain of the Burning Blade, also known as the Captain. Well, it's all very confusing, so I'll just let this clip tell its own story.
So things like the Tales book, they were all written and it was all ready to go way before the game came out. There's stuff in the Tales book that hasn't yet played out in the game yet. So the stuff that's from pre-release hasn't actually played out in the game itself.
Yes, that's right. The book that came out explaining the story of Flameheart Jr. has yet to happen. We are in the precursor timeline of the story of Flameheart Jr., which means that Jr. is out there, possibly already on his way to the Sea of Thieves. The Flameheart in the game right now, and we have all been made aware of, is Senior. Flameheart Jr. came to the Sea of Thieves after his father died. He sailed here on the Silver Blade, and what occurred in the Seabound Soul Tall Tale was a glimpse into the past of around 10 years ago, which means Flameheart Sr.'s son is probably already here. Now, I know a few of you will say, but Flameheart Jr. never talked to Flameheart Sr. being in the Sea of Thieves when he was there, but I think Flameheart Jr. is already here. The developers have been hinting it to us throughout the game. The introduction of the Silver Blade set, the Aristocrat set, which shares the same figurehead as Flameheart Jr., shortly before the release of the Seabound Soul. Throughout these tall tales, unknowingly to us, he has sailed in the Silver Blade. He has steered into the Shroud and turned into a skeleton, and is still on a mysterious island with the former captain of the Burning Blade. And now he will hear of his father's return, and the story from the book will continue with us as its witnesses. Case closed. That's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, then please hit that like button. And if you really like the video, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell so you're always notified when I upload. And if you're looking for ways to support me, please head over to my Patreon page where I offer tiers that give you perks for your support. Link is in the pinned comments below. Until next time, take care of yourself and happy sailing. Bye bye.